read a little bit from a scene from the First Word Ball, which was the sort of, which I wish somebody would start having again. It was the annual party that the Levy District threw for itself. It was a chance for everybody to be as disgusting as they wanted to be with impunity, and they could just celebrate themselves. And this went on year after year until 1908, when the reformers got increasingly agitated about this and wanted to shut it down. And they were, in fact, so upset about it that a week before the ball was to take place, they blew up the building. And of course, the First Ward, the Levy District people wanted to have their party anyway, so they were undeterred and decided to go along with the festivities. So I'll just read a short little excerpt from that then. Unbelievable, this traffic. Trolleys stalled all along Wabash and State. Automobiles and cabs parked askew. Carriages lined in an endless chain. 15,000 men, women, and children darting through the frigid December night, curious for a glimpse of this strange procession, the painted ladies in their furs and extravagant hats, wide brims circling their heads like miniature rings of Saturn. Lifted above the mass, moving slowly toward the Coliseum, the Everly Sisters heard the cries, "They're here," and watched the crowd part, as if by Moses' hand, for their brougham. Behind them, and behind their 30 butterflies, followed the lesser levy attractions. And they were all out tonight. Frankie Wright, madam of a brothel called the Library, so called in ironic homage to 6 unread books she'd stacked on a shelf. Big Jim Colosimo's white slavery partner, Maurice Van Beaver, and his wife, Julia. Big Jim himself and his wife, Victoria. Terrible Johnny Torrio, Big Jim's new bodyguard, just imported from the Five Points neighborhood of New York City. Years later, Torrio, too, would import another Five Points gangster, a young comer named Alphonse Capone, whose first job entailed buzzing madams to warn them of imminent raids. And there was Vic Shaw and her white slaver husband, Roy Jones, squeezed by her side. Policemen encircled the sisters and their girls, protecting them from groping hands as they entered the Coliseum, a sprawling urban castle with spires and turrets, Chicago's answer to Madison Square Garden. Inside felt like a racing heart, thrumming and pulsing to its own erratic beat. So close was the press, the Record Herald noted, that even those already drunk were forced to stand erect. 30,000 people in a venue meant for half that number, lunging and thrashing, bodies colliding. Mouths screamed through nickel store masks. Women wilted and collapsed to the floor. "Gangway! Dame fainted," was a frequent cry, and then were lifted and passed from hand to hand, crowd surf style, to a growing pile of weary bodies in a tucked-away corner. The air was damp with breath and sweat. The floor slick with spilled beer, ankle-deep. Men dressed like women, women dressed like men, androgynous revelers dressed like jockeys, clowns, Indians, gypsies, and page boys, madams with fur capes slung over bare shoulders, harlots in slick skirts, peekaboo waists, bloomers, and even bathing suits, causing the Tribune to quip, "Mighty little suit of any kind," and one notorious Magdalene dressed like a nun. Minna knew what came next. The band struck up the Everly Club's theme song, "Stay in Your Own Backyard," in honor of the sisters' arrival. This was the one night of the year when the parameters of their own backyard shifted and stretched, when they took to the same dance floor as the pimps and white slavers and cretins who would never be permitted past the club's doors, when any ignorant observer who knew nothing of levy hierarchy might fail to distinguish them from the rest. It was a reminder, panting quietly in her ear, of how low they once were, all those indignities that had to be wrapped in lie after lovely lie, wrapping too thick now to ever tear open.